Hello, everyone. Wayne Motts, the President Emeritus and historian at the Gettysburg Foundation, and I'm in field clothes. And guess what? We're on the battlefield for a segment of Walking Wednesdays. I'm standing at Barlow's Knoll, named for Brigadier General Francis Barlow of the Union Army 11th Corps here in the Battle of Gettysburg. His statue is just over my left shoulder, off to the right of your screen. And this area for July 1st, 1863 will be part of the afternoon action of Union Army versus the Confederates here on July 1st. So let's point out a couple things as to where we are. First of all, if you start over here to the right, so let's pan over here a little bit. I'll walk this way. Abby behind the camera from our social media team. And the farm building that you see, you'll see a barn. That's the Blocker Farm, the David Blocker Farm that was here during the time of the battle. David and John Blocker were the owners of this property, this tract of land out over here. And this was actually called Blocker's Knoll. I just told you today we call it Barlow's Knoll after General Francis Barlow. So let's swing back around over here. We'll pass Barlow's statue, and then we'll get in over here behind the guns of Bayard Wilkinson's battery that I'm up against, to right over my shoulder. And the area in the field over here behind me would have been where the almshouse complex, the house of the poor, or where they took care of folks that just couldn't take care of themselves, paid for by the county. That is the complex that stood there during the time of the battle. On July 1st, 1863, in the afternoon, the Union Army 11th Corps comes out here to town, and they'll be massed right over here behind me when they notice there are Confederate infantry soldiers, skirmishers, out here where I'm at. And so Francis Barlow will order troops to come right up here to this knoll, getting that order from General Oliver Otis Howard on July 1st, 1863. So this will, these troops, well, at least we think that's the way it broke down. Barlow will have his soldiers come here forward on July 1st, 1863 to occupy where this position is. One of the first things they do is set up a skirmish line over here in front of me, behind your view, and to skirmish with the Confederate troops. They're going to push off the Confederate skirmishers that are right here on the afternoon of July 1st. So let's take a walk down there. Abby will bring the camera. This segment of Walking Wednesdays, let me say that on behalf of the Gettysburg Foundation, we ask you to be respectful of the National Park Service resources. The best time to do this is to do it in the off season, like we're doing today, when you're not damaging crops. Notice there's nothing planted out here. Please do not come out and do this when there are crops. You also don't want to do this in the summertime when you've got a mass of ticks that are out here on the battlefield. So the best time to do these features that we're showing you on Walking Wednesdays is in the off season. Just remember that. So right in front of us, ladies and gentlemen, you'll have Rock Creek, and on the other side of it, coming down the Harrisburg Road, will be Jubal Early's division, and then also John Brown Gordon's brigade. A brigade of Georgians will be the one directly up against where we're going to go. So let's go down here at Barlow's Knoll. Everybody take a look at Barlow's Knoll, how steep it is. You're a Georgian here on July 1st, 1863, going up against Francis Barlow's division on the afternoon of July 1st. You've got to cross over Rock Creek over here behind me, and then you've got to come up to the very top of this hill. So this is a pretty difficult pace. So let's swing back around as we walk our way down here. But you can't really get a sense. And we know there's a lot of you that are going to be viewing this video that aren't able physically to come out and do all this. We understand that. Of course, the best way to come out on the battlefield is to actually walk it during the appropriate seasons. Also, get yourself a licensed battlefield guide, answer questions that you may have. But we're going to take you down and show you this marker. Now, the brigade that's sent up here is under the command of Leopold von Gilsa, and von Gilsa's brigade will be deployed as skirmishers. So they're not going to be in a double rank line of battle. They're going to be down on the creek over here in front of us, basically in small little outposts of groups of men. Skirmishers usually worked in groups of 4. They were called comrades in battle, and they were so many paces from one another. And these were always in front of what the main battle line will look like. Up on the knoll where we just came from, that'll be where the support infantry of Barlow's division will be on the afternoon of July 1st for the beginning of this action between Richard Ewell's 2nd Confederate Army Corps and the 11th Union Army Corps right here. So, oh, look at this. I hit it almost perfect. Let's see if we can the pathway that's here. Take a look at it right here. So here's the banks of Rock Creek. It wasn't very deep during the time of the battle, but you'll notice it's like 20-some feet wide or wider. Those of you, I'm sure, you're going to say, Wayne, your measuring stick is off. That's not 20 feet. It's bigger than 20 feet. Well, listen, it's a pretty good obstacle to have to get through if you're coming across that. And if you look just through the trees, I don't know if we can see that or not, Abby, but right through the trees is the Josiah Benner Farm. Benner Farm is on the Harrisburg Road, and to our right, you'll have members of the 17th Connecticut. 4 companies of 17th Connecticut went out to the Josiah Benner Farm and skirmished with the Confederates. This would be the left of the line, basically on this side of Rock Creek. And if we turn around, we'll see right up here, right off of the creek bed. It's not very far. The monument right here to the 54th New York Regiment. This is a monument seldom seen. No matter how many times you've been at Gettysburg, there's a good chance that you have never seen this monument. Along Rock Creek, below Barlow's Knoll, we'll make sure you can get a GPS coordinates on it, and it says occupied this posting July 1st, 1863, and it's a detail event. The memorial, the actual monument dedicated to 54th New York, and it was called the Hiram Barney Rifles. They were recruited in New York City in 1861. That monument is on Cemetery Hill because after the fighting here on July 1st, these troops will fall back to Cemetery Hill. So the main memorial for the 54th is there. This is the only skirmish line marker here for the fighting on the afternoon of July 1st between John Brown Gordon's Brigade of Georgians and von Gilsa's skirmishers that are here for Barlow's division on July 1st. Now, eventually, the Confederates are going to push right through this position. They're going to go right up to the top of where Barlow's Knoll is. Let's come right through there. You can see it through the trees where Abby and I just traversed. Head of the artillery there, Bayard Wilkeson, mortally wounded. Barlow will survive his wounds, but all these troops are going to get pushed off by the Confederate soldiers for July 1st, and the entire top of this ground will be in Confederate hands by the afternoon, late in the afternoon on July 1st, 1863. So Walking Wednesday monument today, out-of-way place today, the skirmish marker of the 54th New York Volunteer Infantry Regiment along Rock Creek, north of Gettysburg, for July 1st, 1863. We hope you like these Walking Wednesday videos. Please subscribe, follow us on all the social media channels, and stay tuned for our next Walking Wednesday video. Thanks.